All right, let's talk Jameis Winston and what went wrong for him in this week 2 game. It was looking like I was even starting to buy in that we're seeing maybe a new Jameis Winston in a Saints uniform. Well, he looked like the old Jameis in this game, certainly. Granted, he was very banged up in this, and I'm sure that played a role. But let's just talk about what happened, what we saw, the mistakes that happened, and the things that he has to improve upon, along with, things that I wonder if he will improve upon. So starting off with this play, this is a lot of what we saw with the Saints, which was, this is actually, I think, when Jameis Winston is at his best. I feel like he can do this stuff pretty well, where it's a zone coverage play. You have a receiver running over the middle, and if you don't like that route, then just hit the halfback route instead. It seems like when Winston is doing this stuff, at least in a Saints uniform, he's been very good at it. Watch how when Winston takes the snap and runs the play action, he looks over the middle, and this is actually pretty, relatively open. He could make this throw, but it's a bit risky, and it feels like the way that he's been coached is, listen, if there's a chance it's not going to work, just hit the halfback. We can pick up yards that way. We're good. You don't need to push the ball down the field here. So even though there are opportunities to push the ball down the field, this is a lot of what Winston's, sort of the new coaching staff that Winston has had these past few years has kind of coached him into doing, and he tends to be, I think it works out more often than it backfires. Look, Winston instead does just throw down to the flat, and they're not going to pick up a ton of yards, but it's the whole, hey, if you pick up 5 yards every play, you're going to move the ball down the field pretty effectively. So don't worry too much about pushing the ball down the field. Just wait until you have an opportunity, and there were opportunities. Like this one, for example, is going to be a great opportunity to push the ball down the field. You have Chris Olave working on Jameis Dean on this play. It's going to be a cover 3 zone, so there's a single safety deep, and you also have a one-on-one matchup, essentially, as the safety is going to actually cover the other side of the field with Michael Thomas. So because of that, watch how when Jameis takes the snap and he does look down the field, Winston has plenty of room to make this throw. He's basically just, standing at this point. It's almost like a drill with how much room he has. You see that there is, it's about to get open, right? You can see how Olave can potentially run by a little bit and get open. It's a one-on-one matchup. It's a good chance to take. However, Winston's throw is just going to be a bit too far. And trust me, I'm a Tampa Bay fan. I watched Winston's career very closely in Tampa Bay. Well, when he does hit on a deep ball, it looks so pretty. He doesn't always hit on those deep balls. He actually has kind of a low hit rate on those deep passes, despite the fact that he has great arm strength. It's more so the accuracy that will make issues. So it seemed like he overthrew that one, and I wonder if he had that in his head when the next play would happen. As in this one, not the next play in the game, but the next play I'm about to show you, which is going to be an interception. It's a cover 2 zone. You have Olave running deep once again. And you see how when Winston takes the snap, runs the play action, and looks down the field, Olave is trying to split in between the safeties, and he's doing a pretty good job at it. There is definitely a way that this can potentially work. And while I'm saying safeties, it was kind of a disguise. So actually, one of the quote-unquote safeties is corner Jameis Dean here. So, safeties in quote marks, but, the guy's basically playing safety on this play. But watch out now. It seems like Winston is he's going to underthrow it a little bit, which allows Dean to get back and be able to make this interception. Great play by Dean, sure, but also this is kind of one of those, Winston needs to be able to hit these perfectly, because at least if you overthrow it, you're okay. At least you're not going to, the worst case scenario is just an incomplete pass. You can't underthrow these. But there was also this play, because listen, some of those plays you could sit here and say, maybe that's just, his injury, which is fair. Maybe that's what's causing him to miss those throws, and if he was hitting those throws, the Saints probably win this football game. But like this one, there's really no excuse for, in my opinion, where it's going to be man coverage. So that's what Winston is going to look against. It's a third down on this play. It's third down to have to get to the 42.5 yard line, it looks like. So that's where they're going for. Winston is going to take the snap. Winston is going to look in that direction. He eventually scrambles out. And, not a lot is open here, but you do see a lot of open grass. Now, Lavonte David reads this as well. He's rushing in. He can definitely cover a lot of ground quickly. But you have to think that if you do run with the football, you can probably pick up this first down. But instead, Winston kind of just keeps pump faking until eventually Shaq Barrett from behind knocks the ball out. Just kind of a lack of spatial awareness a little bit from Winston. You can't blame the injury on that one. That is just one of those mistakes that you get with Jameis Winston. Listen, I'm not making this video to bash Winston. I made plenty of positive videos of Winston, including last week when I was giving him a lot of praise. but you do have to take the good with the bad when it comes with Jameis Winston. I think that it's fair to say at this point, this is to some degree who he is a guy who will make errors. Like this one's another one that's just, again, part of me wants to say it might just be the injury, but I have seen this stuff before from Jameis where it's going to be zone coverage, and you see the way this concept can work. You have the two receivers lined up all the way to the left for the Saints, so closer to the top of the screen, running deep routes. You then have another receiver who's trying to get into a gap in coverage in this zone coverage against Tampa Bay. Watch how when Winston takes the snap, he is going to look in that direction, and you see how there is a window for him to make this throw. I saw the commentators were saying this is just not a throw you can make. I think it's a fine throw to make. Push the ball down the field here, try to get a chunk play. I get this totally. However, this throw is just way too high, and it ends up being intercepted. Unless this was some kind of miscommunication, I don't know. To me, this just looks like he whiffed on a throw, which Winston will do from time to time. He will have a throw just get away from him. I mean, that's, again, that is part of who he is. And finally, let's talk about the last interception we saw from Winston. So yes, 3 interceptions and a fumble to break down in this video. Again, you have to push the ball down the field at this point. One thing I really do admire from Jameis Winston is that a lot of guys, when they're down in the fourth quarter, say, okay, well, let's preserve the stats. Let's try to, maybe even make our stats look better by, just sort of completing a lot of the easy passes when they're playing a little bit more off. That's not Jameis Winston. He's going to take his chances. He's going to try to throw his team back into the game, and sometimes it does work. I mean, last week it worked, right? The fact that he will take chances can definitely pay off, but this is the flip side, is it can make your stat line look a lot worse when it doesn't work out. It's going to be zone coverage here, and watch what happens. New Orleans has a player who's going to try to sit into this gap in coverage. At first, I thought that Winston just never saw the safety come in, and that might be the case. I don't know. Part of me just feels like he's just trying to fit it through the tight window anyways. That also might be an aspect here, and, if that is the case, I get it. However, Mike Edwards is going to be able to jump this route, get the pick 6, so, again, not ideal from Winston, but I actually don't hate this decision. It didn't work out, fine, but he's trying to throw his team back into the game when you're trailing. Maybe you don't have to do it, but I get the logic behind it. Take some chances, especially when nothing was really open all game for him. So, there were bigger issues than just Jameis Winston, but I definitely thought Winston played poor in this one. Again, how much do you want to blame the injury on? I really don't know. I don't know if anyone knows unless you're you've had that injury before and you know exactly how it can affect you. I feel like it's definitely kind of a question mark as to how badly the injury affected him, how much of it was just, he's had accuracy issues at times in his career, period. So, that might just be that, or it might legitimately be he missed the throws because he had the injury. I mean, I can understand both. I could see both being potentially true, and I don't know what the answer is, but to me, I do feel like as a whole, some of these mistakes are just Jameis Winston mistakes that happen, and it will be interesting to see as we get more and more Jameis Winston time, how much does he get better at this stuff? Is this just truly who he is? My bet would be this is truly who he is, which is just an inconsistent player who you don't want to catch him if you're playing against him on his best day, but you really do want to catch him when you see him on his worst day. And sometimes he has both in the same game, which is what makes him exciting to watch. But that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.